All right, so in this video, I'm going to touch on a few things. One, how we can truly become tapped in, how we can tap into unlimited energy around us, and also how we can consciously have a multi-dimensional mind. As humans, we are always living in multiple dimensions at once. We just don't realize it. And when we can shift dimensions consciously, all these other possibilities open up for us. And we're first going to start off by just saying how amazing we as humans are. We are so damn distracted by all of this stuff going on outside of us, meant to cause turbulence and chaos and hijack our attention, that we don't even know how freaking special we are, how complex even just our bodies are. We are walking conductors of energy. We channel electricity. Our body is an electrical circuit, and our cells have an electrical charge. Our nerves fire electricity extremely fast, and we have this like highway of nerves that whenever we touch something, for example, the signal gets sent through this highway of nerves into our spine and then goes up into the brain for it to be interpreted and made sense of by us. So we constantly have this energy flowing through us, but let's talk more about the spine. Our spine, it's stacked. It is an energetical column. And by now, everyone should know at least a little bit about chakras. This is the first time I'm going to really ever touch on them. As I've been learning more about them, the chakras are like our key to evolution and transformation as souls. It's like a lesson plan. It's like a guide book. It's like guiding our evolution. Now, these chakras are aligned directly along the spine. They are energy centers, and we're going to talk a little bit later about how to open them. The crazy thing is, and we're going to get more into this as we go along, but the chakras aren't just contained to our physical body. They are our direct connection to source or spirit or God. I think it's all the same thing, whatever you want to call it. The chakras are our key to become tapped in. And when we're talking about creating multi-dimensional consciousness, this is the start of it. Now, notice the colors in there. The colors are what? They're associated with the rainbow. I don't think this is a coincidence at all. The visible light spectrum, the colors that we can see in this third dimensional reality, you'll find them showing up in multiple places in the spiritual realm. Even look at this chart, which we are all so familiar with, the emotional vibration chart. This shit is all connected. But the thing is, a lot of us, our chakras are blocked at one point or another, or multiple points that are just all closed up. When energy gets built up and it gets stuck inside us, we're supposed to be a pure channel of energy, right? Energy in, we process it, it flows through us, and it leaves us. But if it gets stuck in there, that's when, our mental chatter can start to go crazy. That's when we are more susceptible to sickness and disease. When our energy flow is smooth, our cells are communicating well, our nervous system is balanced, our energy centers are flowing and open, then we feel vitality and clarity. We feel our sense of purpose in the world. We can get, downloads from higher consciousness. We have more access to our intuition, or this field of knowledge that we can't see. But if our energy centers are blocked or they're just out of whack, we start to feel depleted, foggy, or emotionally stuck, and probably wondering what the hell the point of life is. The point of life is, I believe, to experience everything, to learn and evolve as much as we can, but also to connect back to source and to really remember who we are. We are all one. And I honestly really don't touch on God or the creator too much, but come on, there's got to be something that created this. This amazing world that we live in. It's designed so perfectly. But really, we're just connecting back to ourselves. That creator, that God. I don't believe it's separate from us. I think it is us. I think we are a lower dimensional version, a reflection of God. And we're here to reawaken or remember just that. Right now, our consciousness is very fragmented, and we need to start picking back up the pieces and putting it all together and aligning ourselves to create that direct connection, to get all our dimensional versions back in line. And there is a limitless amount of energy around us if we can just learn how to use it. The key is neutrality. We know in physics when a system reaches equilibrium or it reaches balance, no energy is wasted when positive and negative are balanced. And now I believe because of forces outside of us, maybe forces that are trying to control us, we are constantly always put in these non neutral emotional states like fear or anger or obsession or unhealthy desire. Now, this is energy coming in. It is like a voltage spike within us. But most of the time, we're not processing this stuff. We're not letting go of all the stuff that we're harboring. It gets stuck within us. And so we're carrying around all this tension, all this chronic stress. And so, at a subconscious level, we are resisting the life that we live. When we live in duality, when we are always labeling things as good or bad, as right or wrong, when we are trying to be too positive, even though it is positive, it is really not necessarily better. A negative charge at an atomic level is not a bad thing, it's a necessary thing. We have just been conditioned to think that negative is bad. And don't get me wrong, like harming other people, doing bad things to other people. It's not good. I'm not talking about that, but we can live in duality or polarity so much and we create all this tension within ourselves that we really just keep ourselves trapped. Positive and negative and neutral is a fundamental part of the structure of the fabric of our entire existence. Look at the car battery. If you're trying to ever jump your car, you got the positive, you got the negative, and then what do you need? Something neutral, something that grounds that energy. To become a pure channel of energy, we got to become, I don't want to say like whatever, but we have to become detached. We have to get out of what we've been conditioned to think of as good or bad. And when we become neutral, we stop leaking all of this energy into judgment, trying to control things or trying to defend our point of view, to defend our ego. And we really enter a state of pure potential. This state of consciousness, it does feel limitless because our awareness it hasn't really taken form. It can move anywhere instantly. So you can see how we can become trapped by our own knowledge, by what we think is right or wrong. What if we're just holding ourselves back? And we can move throughout our day. Our energy can move without friction, without resistance, without constantly trying to fight life. And if you look at, here's a little more in-depth version of the emotional vibration chart. We're starting to combine dimensions into this, but if you look here, neutrality is like where we start to split off to our higher dimensional self. And look where neutrality is. It's where we start to get into the green color. What is the green color? It is the heart. You got the lower chakras, physical body. The heart is like the connector from our physical self to our higher self. And once we start opening that up, we start to transcend the physical body and really start to tap in. And also, before I move on, back to the balance thing, right? Masculine and feminine also has to be balanced. And this one is huge. And I think things are thrown at us from the media, subliminal influences, whatever, to get us on more one side or the other. Masculine and feminine is our positive and negative charge. We lean too far on one pole or the other, we get out of whack. So I just wanted to mention that. And now let's get into the chakras. So we know the chakras are gateways to higher dimensions, and clearing them is going to unblock energy and allow it to flow through us. But what are we trying to connect or align to? We're going to go through this really quick. And honestly, this very simple explanation is from Avatar: The Last Airbender. When Aang goes to that spiritual teacher and learns how to unlock his own chakras, I feel like it just explains it perfectly. That whole series is freaking amazing. I highly recommend if you're into any of the stuff that you watch that whole series. But we're going to start with the root. And also, you don't just go doing this, okay? You don't go rushing this process. Some very detrimental things. I think you can honestly go crazy if you unblock the chakras too early, if you're not ready for it. Or if you're like really worried about the third eye. We love talking about the third eye. If that's all you focus on, but you haven't grounded yourself at the bottom, your energy is going to be all out of whack. And I honestly think you're going to go insane. So you got to start simple. You got to take this slow and you got to start at the root. A root at the base of our spine. It deals with survival and it is blocked by fear. Sacral, just below our stomach, just below our belly button, deals with pleasure and creativity and it's blocked by guilt. The navel or the solar plexus deals with willpower and discipline and it's the driver of our energy. If our gut microbiome is not balanced, this one's going to be blocked. But it also is blocked by shame. The heart obviously deals with love of all kinds. It's blocked by a lack of self-love or maybe harboring a lot of things from our past that we haven't processed. And it's also blocked by grief. Our throat, which is our channel of expression, deals with truth, speaking our truth, and it's blocked by lies or if we don't have the courage to really express ourselves. The third eye deals with insight and it's blocked by illusion, seeing through the illusion. And finally, the crown at the top of our head, it deals with, as they said in Avatar, The Last Airbender, pure cosmic energy, and it's blocked by earthly attachment or any attachments that we have. So we need to, in the end, let everything go. And that is when we can finally start to come online. So here's another visual related to the chakras. Now you'll see here on the right where the connection starts to happen. All these words right here, they're known as the subtle bodies or the different planes of existence. Now at any given time, we are living in all of these dimensions at once. But anytime we have a thought, it creates potential energy. That energy needs an outlet and it needs to be expressed. And energy is always going to seek lower pressure conditions. So where exactly do thoughts come from? They come from higher planes and they make their way down to lower planes. They start in the spiritual plane and make their way down to the physical. There is a lag time. But everything that's happening to us, we're missing the cause and effect of things. The cause is happening up here, or it's happening up here more at the source, and it makes its way down to the physical plane. Now, at any given time, we're living in all of these dimensions simultaneously. There is a piece of our aura in all of these dimensions. If you are an experienced meditator, you can start to feel into these bodies. And this graphic is a progression of how that happens. You're going to begin with just being aware of the physical body. As you quiet your mind more, as you become more present, you start to realize all of this subtle stuff. I was going to go more into these bodies and explain, or planes and explain them, but that's going to take too much time, probably for another video, but you get the gist. We're multidimensional, right? Things do originate in higher planes, but also having balance in the lower dimensions of ourself, having alignment and unity within ourselves, especially relating to the chakras, will allow that higher awareness to flow more easily into our daily lives. We're like a multidimensional radio tower, radio receiver. And if we're fragmented, we're not going to receive anything from higher sources. Everything is created in the state of pure presence or stillness or the void, I guess you could say, and makes its way down. And that's what, if you're into transcendental meditation, or really, I think if you just go into deep meditation, you go from just living in the conscious mind, which is turbulent. You work on training yourself to relax, to let go and surrender, and to become pure presence. You make your way to the source of everything. Pure awareness is the source. Consistently meditating or sitting in stillness will create massive changes in your brain and alter how you see the world, alter your perception. You'll have better attention, and you'll start to become more aware of the subtle layers of reality. You might start to notice how dimensions are really just always inside of you. That's how I feel. The dimensions are inner. We don't have to go somewhere else. It's all accessible within us. You might start to become aware of energy. You might start to be able to see energy. This is what happens when we stop paying attention to all the bullshit outside of us and turn our attention to the inner world. But here are some signs that you're becoming more multidimensional. Third dimensional is purely looking at things from a physical perspective. The fourth dimension is the bridge, and the fifth dimension is where we become, or at least we start to become, unified. We start to transcend our idea of linear time. We start to realize how everything, past, present, future, is existing at one time, going from lack to abundance, alchemizing our suffering as fuel, as evolution, going from fear and surrendering all that, surrendering control, and just having the utmost trust in life. Some other signs that you may be becoming more multidimensional, or you are starting to exist more in higher dimensions. Don't leave the lower dimensions. We got to find a connection, right? Remember, one big line from our root to source. But some other signs you're shifting dimensions. Old relationships or identities might feel misaligned. Some deep trauma or wounds might be surfacing, but don't freak out. They're just coming up to be healed. A great opportunity to heal them, look at them again, and release them, and clear all of it and become lighter. When we start to shift our consciousness from, self consciousness in a detrimental way, where we're overthinking ourselves and our flaws, tapping into actual consciousness, spirit consciousness, not being attached to our physical body or attached to our mind, realizing we are the soul, we are the awareness, the observer above all of that. We're not our thoughts or our emotions. We're the one experiencing all those things. We'll start to see the bigger picture of this reality. We'll start to really discover who we actually are, because we don't know, or we have forgotten who we are, how powerful we actually are. I could have gone a lot deeper in this presentation, but I think that was kind of more just an overview of how to start to begin to tap in, begin to have multidimensional consciousness, and rise above the mental prison that a lot of us are in. So let me know what you think about that. If you like the video, definitely subscribe to support the channel. That's all I got. See ya.